This chapter will explore the earliest emergence of rock and roll from approximately 1955 to 1960. A prosperous and growing teen audience supported this new art form, and with the addition of fewer restrictions for radio broadcasting, the emergence of television, advances in the civil rights movement, and fiercely competing independent record labels, rock and roll flourished. Transistor radios, which were smaller and more portable, changed the way teens could listen to music. They could take it with them and listen in their cars. The rise of the charismatic personality disc jockey who played the music this generation wanted to hear arose during the 1950s. Alan Freed, who originally based in Ohio, moved to the largest radio market in the country, New York City. Freed's radio show, that he now called the Rock and Roll Show, and where he played only the original rhythm and blues artists, not the white covers, attracted a lot of attention. Freed also hosted live performances featuring many of these rhythm and blues artists. Freed's career was unfortunately cut short due to his implication and conviction in an industry-wide payola scandal. The 1950s featured the first artists that crossed over into the youth listening market, ultimately forcing changes in radio programming. Some of the most popular artists include Fats Domino, Chuck Berry, Little Richard, and Elvis Presley. Not everyone was happy with the often questionable lyrical content of rhythm and blues songs. The major record labels created cover versions of the original hits, but with sanitized lyrics. These were always covered by white performers, thus the name the whitening of rhythm and blues. Pat Boone and Bill Haley were just two of these cover artists in the 1950s. In addition to the emergence of rhythm and blues artists, rockabilly music excited the new youth listeners in the 1950s. Its dominance by white artists was often more acceptable to conservative parents of teen listeners. Sun Records, owned and operated by Sam Phillips in Memphis, Tennessee, discovered and recorded many rockabilly artists. At one point, Sun Records had four of the most popular 50s artists on their label, dubbing them the $1 Million Quartet for their potential earnings if they had recorded together. Rockabilly was also a style welcoming for women, many of which recorded popular hits in the 1950s and 60s. Some of these women include Brenda Lee with her hit I'm Sorry, Janice Martin, who was called the female Elvis, and Wanda Jackson with a number of hits including Let's Have a Party. By far, though, the most recognizable name and face in rockabilly was Charles Hardin Buddy Holly. Buddy Holly and the Crickets recorded many hits in the 1950s and helped establish the elements of this new, more rock-infused rockabilly style. His unique hiccup singing style, combined with his hometown, Texas, boy-next-door persona, captured the hearts of 50s teens and their parents. As the decade ended, it seemed as though rock and roll may just be a fad that went away. In fact, some parents, teachers, and government officials wished it would. Some of the biggest names in rock and roll left the scene in one way or another. Little Richard disavowed rock music and returned to his church roots now as a preacher. Chuck Berry violated the Mann Act and went to jail. Jerry Lee Lewis was scandalized for marrying his 13-year-old cousin. Elvis Presley enters the Army in 1958. But by far the most tragic was the plane crash on February 3, 1959, which killed Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Ritchie Valens. This event is often called the day the music died.